This season on Sister Wives.
I have never done speed dating before.
Yes. So just do that when you walk in tonight?
What's your love language?
My love language is physical touch. He's handsome, so there's that.
You and Kody could hang out.
Yeah.
Didn't you think that?
Hold on, come on.
I think I need to get out.
Change up. The 20th season of Sister Wives returns with explosive drama that hits harder than anything we've seen before. From the very first episode, viewers witness a family that has completely fallen apart. What began as a story about faith, multiple marriages, and unity has transformed into something raw and difficult to watch. Season 20 opens with devastating honesty about years of pain, betrayal, disappointment, and emotional damage that the Brown family can no longer hide. This isn't just picking up where things left off. The drama feels like watching a family say goodbye forever, leaving viewers shocked instead of finding the peace or healing they expected. The cameras move through familiar but broken scenes in Flagstaff, Arizona. Each shot reveals a different home in the opening sequence. Robyn's large house has become a symbol of resentment. Christine's separate life shows her independence. Meri's quiet suburban home reflects her isolation. Janelle's small rental speaks to her reduced circumstances. The editing makes it crystal clear that this is no longer one united family following God's plan. Instead, we see separate lives revolving around a broken man who once preached unity, but now represents division. Kody's bitter voice narrates over these haunting images, admitting something that shakes viewers to their core. I don't know if I even have a family anymore. I don't know what's left. This confession hits hard because for 20 seasons, Kody Brown insisted that the family's foundation was solid despite their challenges. Now he's finally admitting what many fans suspected all along: the dream is dead. When the camera focuses on Kody, he looks angry, exhausted, and defeated. His body language screams failure, his eyes carry heavy frustration, and his famous curly hair appears thinner than before, alone in his living room, surrounded by family photos that now feel like ghosts from happier times. Kody starts yelling at producers about betrayal. He insists that Meri, his loyal first wife, has abandoned him. He claims Janelle chose independence over loyalty and that Christine stabbed him in the back. What surprises viewers most isn't the anger in his words, it's how vulnerable he sounds. For the first time, we see a patriarch who isn't in control, isn't leading his family, but rather a man crumbling under the weight of his own decisions. But Kody isn't the only one showing emotion in this premiere. The episode focuses heavily on Janelle. Sitting in her kitchen under soft lighting for years, viewers saw Janelle as the stable wife, the practical, reasonable one who kept the family financially secure, and usually stayed out of Kody's emotional storms. This time, however, she's visibly shaking with tears in her eyes as she looks directly into the camera. Her confession hits like a punch: I don't even recognize the man I married anymore. Coming from Janelle, who rarely speaks in absolutes, her next words shock even more: I've tried to hold this together, but I feel completely alone in this marriage. She's finally admitting that her marriage is shattered, and she no longer has the strength to pretend otherwise. The contrast between Janelle's pain and Kody's anger sets the tone for the entire episode. This is no longer about wives who fight but eventually make up. This is about walls built so high that they might never come down again. The first major surprise comes when Christine appears back on screen, just when viewers think they've processed the sadness of Janelle's perspective. Christine returns, depending on where you stand. Her comeback feels either triumphant or threatening. Christine makes it clear she's not here to spare Kody's feelings. She dresses confidently and speaks calmly but firmly to the camera. In a private interview, she states, "He broke this family. Not me. He favored one woman, ignored the rest of us, and left our children feeling abandoned. I couldn't keep living that way." Her words mirror Kody's accusations of betrayal, and it's impossible to ignore the conflict between their completely different versions of events. The editing brilliantly cuts between Christine speaking to the camera and Kody's angry reactions, filmed at different times after Christine explains she had to leave to save her mental health. The episode shows Kody pacing and red-faced, shouting that she's rewriting history. The producers clearly know what they're doing. This isn't just storytelling, it's warfare. The audience is being positioned to pick sides. What makes this showdown even more intense is Robyn's reaction. Fans have long accused her of being the favorite wife, the reason behind Kody's neglect of the others, and the cause of the family's breakdown. In this episode, Robyn finally addresses those accusations, but not in the way many expected, through tears. Robyn declares, "I never wanted to be the only one. I wanted unity and sisterhood." While her tears appear genuine, The other wives' dismissive reactions suggest they no longer believe her story. Everyone blames me for everything, she continues in her own confessional. Janelle goes as far as saying Robyn might claim she wanted sisterhood, but she allowed Kody to put her above the rest of us. That's what destroyed us. The tension between Robyn's claimed innocence and the other wives' frustration simmers like a pot about to explode. The episode's first act builds to a series of dramatic confrontations in another confessional. Kody even admits something unthinkable, maybe plural marriage was a mistake. This statement is beyond shocking for a man who has dedicated his life to promoting polygamy as a sacred calling. After the premiere, fans flooded social media in disbelief that Kody had finally acknowledged what many suspected all along, that the Brown experiment was doomed from the start. By the middle of the show, the children begin speaking up, and their voices deliver the harshest criticism. Several of the older Brown children openly discuss the divide between Kody and the family in separately filmed interviews. He chose Robyn and her children over us, one child states bluntly. I don't even think of him as a father anymore, another child agrees. That's exactly right. The words are brutal, and cameras capture Kody's obvious discomfort as producers repeat what his children have said. The image of Kody storming out of a candid interview, muttering under his breath that his children have been turned against him by their mothers, will likely be replayed by fans for weeks to come. The most unsettling moment in the premiere comes at the very end of the first part story. The family is called together for a meeting. Kody, Robyn, Janelle, and Christine sit across from each other in a large living room, with tension so thick it feels ready to explode. The producers present this as a final confrontation, the kind of reality TV showdown that feels less like entertainment and more like watching a real-life tragedy unfold. Janelle sits quietly with tears in her eyes when Kody begins the discussion by demanding loyalty. Christine responds that he lost all right to loyalty when he abandoned his other wives. Robyn tries to mediate, but her comments only fuel more anger. The program ends mid-argument, leaving viewers stunned and desperate to see how everything resolves. By the end of the opening credits, it's clear that Sister Wives Season 20 is more than just another chapter in the family's story. It represents the complete breakdown of everything they built, the destruction of the myth they once promoted, and the most honest look yet at a family torn apart by choices, favoritism, and heartbreak. And this is just the beginning. If the first part of this premiere set the stage with raw emotion and painted a devastating picture of a broken family, the second part cuts straight to the heart of the Brown family's collapse, with Christine at the center of the storm and Kody spiraling deeper into anger and denial. The confrontation doesn't just intensify, it explodes, bringing long-buried resentments to the surface. What follows is a combination of tragedy, emotional warfare, and reality TV drama as the Browns expose wounds that can't be healed with religious platitudes and talk of unity. Following the cliffhanger, the family meeting resumes. Tension fills the room as Robyn sits nervously beside Kody. Janelle visibly trembles but tries to stay composed. Kody leans forward with clenched fists and eyes blazing with anger. Christine's intense stare is locked on Kody. The producers skillfully let the silence stretch for what feels like forever, with cameras zooming in on each face, capturing every movement, blink, and tremor of emotion. Christine finally breaks the silence, and her words hit like a bomb. She declares firmly, "You no longer have the right to call yourself the head of this family. You abandoned us, you abandoned me, you abandoned our children. You have no right to sit there and play the victim." Kody's reaction is immediate. He slams his fist on the table and raises his voice, accusing Christine of turning the children against him. "You poisoned them against me," he shouts as his face reddens and the veins in his neck bulge. But Christine doesn't back down. She continues, sitting straight with an almost eerily calm expression. "They dislike you because of how you treated them. You did that all by yourself. I don't need to make them feel that way." The camera pans to Robyn, who looks like she's about to have a breakdown. She tries to interrupt, whispering, "This isn't fair. Kody has done everything he could," but before she can say more, Janelle finally loses control. After years of containing her pain, she lets the floodgates open. "No, Robyn, he hasn't done everything. He's taken care of you completely, your children too," she says, her voice breaking but her resolve unwavering. "The rest of us have been left in the dust." The camera captures Robyn's shocked expression as she stutters that she never asked for special treatment, tears starting to flow. "But the other wives don't believe it, Robyn. You didn't have to ask," Christine says sharply, leaning forward. "You let it happen while the rest of us were treated like hired help. You allowed him to make you the queen." Even viewers at home can feel the weight of years of resentment finally erupting. The editing incorporates flashbacks from previous seasons, showing Robyn receiving most of Kody's time and attention. Robyn being defended at all costs and the other wives silently enduring in the background. These flashbacks feel damning when contrasted with this raw confrontation, as if the show itself is condemning the decisions that brought the family to this point. The conflict intensifies when the children's voices are brought back into the story. Producers cut between the living room argument and clips of the older children being interviewed. "We stopped inviting Dad to events because he wouldn't show up," says one child, clearly hurt. "He only came if Robyn's children were involved." The statement is heartbreaking. And the editors show a close-up of Kody's face as he listens, his expression shifting between anger and sorrow. "We learned to stop expecting him." "That's not true," he shouts, trying to defend himself. "I was there for my children." Christine quickly responds, "Kody, tell me the last time you attended one of our events." "Go ahead." His silence speaks volumes. "Name one." Another child makes perhaps the most devastating admission, crying as they say, "Sometimes I feel like I don't even have a father." The words hit Kody like a knife, and he explodes again, jumping to his feet and pacing the room while shouting about disrespect, disloyalty, and being unappreciated. But the wives remain silent, and their quiet speaks louder than any words. Viewers can see the truth in that silence. They're no longer intimidated by his anger, it's just exhausting. The episode then takes another shocking turn. As if the emotional destruction wasn't enough, Christine announces on camera that she's officially dating someone new. She states it deliberately, almost defiantly, "I've moved on. I'm not waiting for Kody's approval anymore." The filmmakers cut directly to Kody's face, and his reaction is explosive. His jaw tightens and his eyes widen before he launches into a rant about dishonor and betrayal. "You're embarrassing this family. You're making me look like a fool," he yells. But Christine responds with determination, "I don't belong to you anymore. You lost me the moment you chose Robyn over everyone else." The shot of Robyn's face at this moment will be unforgettable. She whispers that she feels like she's being punished for loving Kody as her lip trembles, and tears flow. But the other women don't comfort her. Christine rolls her eyes, Janelle looks away, and Meri, who appears briefly but powerfully in this section, simply states, "Robyn, you're not the victim here. None of us are." The flatness of her voice betrays the crushing weight of her despair. Even Meri's appearance in this part of the show is startling. Fans have watched her endure humiliation after humiliation for years while staying in the marriage. Here, however, she seems distant, resigned, and almost ghostly. "I held on because I thought there was something worth holding onto," she admits in a confessional. "But now I think I was just grasping at nothing," she adds in one of her most heartbreaking confessions of the night. Fans online immediately noticed her broken appearance. The episode's emotional climax occurs when Kody, completely unraveling, accuses the wives of conspiring against him. "This is what you all wanted. You all turned against me. You wanted me gone. I gave everything to this family," he shouts, his voice cracking as he pounds his chest, but Christine delivers the killing blow. "No, Kody," she responds, staring him in the eye. "You gave everything to Robyn, that's the truth. And we're done pretending otherwise." The camera focuses on Kody's face as his eyes glaze over and his breathing becomes labored. For the first time, he looks defeated rather than just angry. Robyn touches his arm and cries softly as he slumps in his chair and stares at the floor. Having made her point, Christine leans back with her arms crossed. "This is the end," Janelle whispers almost to herself as she wipes away tears. By the end of this section of the show, the Browns are in ruins. Christine and Janelle sit apart, determined to maintain their distance, while Kody and Robyn huddle together on one side, clinging to each other. Meri remains silent and detached in the background like a ghost of the family they used to be. The voices of the children echo in viewers' minds, a chorus of pain that emphasizes the fact that this family cannot be saved. The producers then tease what's still to come with a dramatic cliffhanger. The aftermath from this meeting, the fallout among the children, and whether Kody will finally accept that his dream of plural marriage is over. Just when it seems like the emotional carnage has reached its peak, the final act of Sister Wives Season 20's premiere becomes the smoldering aftermath. This is where all that anger, heartbreak, and truth-telling leaves the Browns staring at each other across a divide too wide to ever bridge again. What makes this portion so devastating isn't just the shouting or the tears. It's the silence that follows, the hollow recognition on each face that the damage cannot be undone. For years, this family insisted they could overcome anything. But here, in the wreckage of their own making, they finally admit what fans have long seen: the Brown family no longer exists. The scene picks up immediately after Christine's final cutting statement that Kody gave his life to Robyn, not to the family. The words hang in the air like smoke after an explosion. Nobody speaks. Kody sits slumped, his eyes darting around as if searching for someone. anyone to defend him. Robyn strokes his arm, whispering something unheard, her tears flowing freely across from them. Christine sits tall with arms crossed, unwavering. Janelle looks shattered, her hand covering her mouth as if holding back sobs. Meri stares at the floor, her face blank, her silence more powerful than words. Janelle finally breaks the quiet, her voice trembling but determined. I can't do this anymore. I've tried to hold this together for so long. But I don't recognize this family. I don't recognize you, Kody. I don't recognize us. The camera zooms in on her face as tears spill down her cheeks, her pain raw and unfiltered. For fans who have always seen Janelle as the steady one, this moment is gut-wrenching. She isn't just upset, she's broken. And in her brokenness, she's also free. Kody's response is defensive, almost childlike. So that's it? You're just going to walk away after everything I've given? His voice cracks, the bravado gone, but Janelle doesn't hesitate. You didn't give us everything, Kody. You gave everything to Robyn. The rest of us got what was left. And it wasn't enough. The words land with the force of years of suppressed truth. Kody leans back, defeated, while Robyn sobs harder, muttering that she never asked to be the favorite. The producers weave in more confessional footage from the children. One of Janelle's sons says bluntly, "We begged him to spend time with us. He always said he was too busy, but he wasn't too busy for Robyn's kids." Another child, visibly angry, declares, "He chose her family over ours. I don't even think he cares about us anymore." The contrast is devastating, the children's pain laid bare while their father sits in denial, insisting he was always present. Christine, emboldened by her own freedom, takes the opportunity to speak her final piece. "I left because I needed peace, I needed joy. And I found it. I've moved on, Kody. I'm not your wife anymore. And I don't want to be. But I'm still the mother of your children and they need you. Whether you show up or not, that's on you." Her words are cutting but also strangely compassionate, acknowledging that even in their bitterness, their lives remain forever connected through the children they share. The tension explodes when Kody, visibly shaking, stands up and points at Christine. "You betrayed me, you embarrassed me. You destroyed this family." His voice echoes through the room. But Christine doesn't flinch. She simply says, "No, Kody. You destroyed this family when you stopped being a husband to all of us and became a husband to only one." The silence that follows is deafening. Even Robyn can't respond, and then, almost shockingly, Meri speaks. After an entire episode of sitting in the shadows, her voice cuts through the silence like a blade. "I stayed for years hoping you'd see me again, hoping you'd fight for me, but you never did. You moved on without me while I was still here. And I think I finally understand. You're never coming back." Her voice doesn't tremble. It doesn't rise. It's flat, steady, and final. For longtime fans who have watched Meri's painful journey, her confession is one of the most emotionally charged moments of the episode. Robyn's vulnerability underscores the season's central theme: no one in the Brown family is immune to pain, and every member carries the scars of years of conflict. The children continue to play a crucial role in this dramatic finale. Several openly express resentment toward Kody, criticizing him for favoritism, neglect, and emotional absence. Some even declare they no longer want reconciliation, a revelation that shocks viewers and reverberates through the family. These confessions don't just highlight the long-term consequences of Kody's decisions. They signal a generational shift in the family's dynamics. The children are asserting their independence and challenging the patriarchal structure that has long defined their upbringing, creating a new and volatile layer of conflict that will influence the season's direction. The first episode also highlights the strained interactions between the wives, revealing subtle tensions that have simmered for years. Every glance, comment, and reaction carries loaded meaning, and the camera captures the complexity of their relationships with unflinching detail. Moments that might seem trivial to outsiders, like a dismissive look or a pointed remark, carry significant emotional weight within the family. These small but meaningful interactions serve as reminders that the damage runs deep. Kody Brown has never been one to stay quiet, but this time her voice carried more weight than ever before. The former Sister Wives star walked into a courtroom not as a reality TV personality, not as Kody Brown's third wife, but as a woman determined to expose the truth, no matter how painful or shocking. For years, fans speculated about unfair treatment, favoritism, and money disappearing within the Brown family's complicated financial system. But in this courtroom showdown, Christine finally put it all on the record. The drama began with a single accusation: the shared grocery fund scandal. TLC had glossed over it on screen, brushing it off as family bickering, but behind the cameras, Christine claimed it was a betrayal that left her children hungry while Robyn's pantry overflowed. Christine's attorneys wasted no time laying out their case. They painted a disturbing picture of a household where all wives were supposed to contribute to and benefit equally from a central grocery fund. But Christine alleged it was manipulated and abused in ways that stripped her children of the security they were promised. This wasn't just about groceries, Christine told the judge, her voice cracking. It was about my children's well-being. It was about fairness, and it was about a betrayal that ran deeper than anyone on TV ever saw. The courtroom sat in stunned silence as Christine described how her kids would come home from school, open the cupboards, and find only a few cans of beans or half a loaf of bread. Meanwhile, during visits to Robyn's house, Christine claimed her children would see shelves stocked high with snacks, frozen meals, and meat purchased with the very money Christine had helped contribute. Christine didn't come empty-handed. Her legal team produced financial records, bank statements, and grocery receipts that told a damning story. Deposits from Christine's personal income, money she had earned from TLC, cameo appearances, and brand deals were funneled into the communal account. Yet when it came time for her to request reimbursement for groceries or household expenses, Christine claimed the money had mysteriously dried up. What made the courtroom gasp was the comparison chart Christine's lawyers displayed. Side-by-side monthly grocery expenditures from Christine's household versus Robyn's showed startling differences. Christine's totals were shockingly low, often less than half of Robyn's. One month in particular sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Christine's recorded grocery budget was under $400, while Robyn's soared past $2,000. Christine stared directly at Kody and Robyn as the figures were read aloud. "How do you justify that?" she asked. "How do you look at your children and say sorry? We don't have enough for dinner when across town the shelves are overflowing." The emotional weight in Christine's voice wasn't just financial, it was deeply personal and heartbreaking. She described the humiliation of borrowing food from friends, the tears she wiped away when her kids asked why they couldn't have the same snacks as their siblings at Robyn's house, and the countless nights she cried herself to sleep, wondering how a system meant to unify the family had become a weapon of favoritism. It wasn't just Christine's testimony that carried weight. It was the emotional shift in the courtroom. Judges and legal experts often maintain composure, but even the court stenographer reportedly paused, her eyes brimming as Christine recounted her lowest moments. This was no longer reality TV drama. This was real life, real struggle, and real betrayal. As Christine's testimony ended, her attorney called an unexpected witness, her daughter, Gwendolyn Brown. The room tensed. Fans knew Gwendolyn as outspoken on social media, unafraid to share her opinions about her family. But seeing her step up to the stand under oath was a moment that will forever be etched in Sister Wives history. Through tears, Gwendolyn confirmed what her mother had said. She recalled opening empty cupboards at home, contrasted with visits to Robyn's house where she described an abundance of food. Her testimony wasn't just about hunger, it was about feeling less loved, less valued, and less important than the children under Robyn's roof. "I don't want to say I felt like we were starving," Gwendolyn said carefully, "but I felt like we were forgotten, and when you're a kid, forgotten feels the same as starving." The weight of those words fell heavy in the courtroom. Christine wept openly as her daughter spoke, and even Kody shifted uncomfortably, his usual confidence noticeably absent. As news of Christine's testimony leaked, social media exploded. Hashtags like "Justice for Christine" and "Brown Family Scandal" began trending. Fans demanded that TLC release unaired footage of the financial arguments Christine had with Kody and Robyn, alleging that producers had intentionally cut them to protect the happy family image. Viewers who had long suspected favoritism felt vindicated. Christine's testimony wasn't just exposing a grocery fund. It was exposing the entire illusion of equality in the plural marriage. By the end of the first part of this courtroom saga, Christine had already reshaped the conversation around sister wives. She was no longer simply the wife who left. She was the woman who stood up in court, armed with evidence and courage, and dared to reveal what had been hidden for years, and this was only the beginning. What came next? The cross-examination, Robyn's response, and the shocking documents Christine's lawyers promised to unveil would push the scandal into territory darker than anyone could have imagined. The tension in the courtroom was overwhelming as the next chapter of this shocking saga unfolded. Kody Brown had delivered her emotional testimony, and now all eyes turned toward Robyn Brown, the wife allegedly at the center of the financial favoritism scandal for years. Robyn's household had been portrayed on Sister Wives as one of harmony and abundance. But in this courtroom, that carefully crafted image was about to face its most severe test yet. Robyn, flanked by her legal team, took the stand with a calm, almost rehearsed manner. Fans watching live streams of the court proceedings described her entrance as cold and calculated, a stark contrast to the raw emotion Christine displayed. Robyn immediately denied any wrongdoing. asserting that all funds were managed fairly according to the family's complex financial system. There was no favoritism, Robyn told the judge, her voice steady. Every household received the money it requested and needed. Any gaps in budgeting were misunderstandings, not intentional neglect, but Robyn's defense didn't convince everyone. Observers quickly noted the contradictions between her testimony and the financial records Christine had already submitted, which appeared to show clear disparities in grocery expenditures. Even the judge raised an eyebrow when Robyn suggested that Christine's children's hunger was a matter of poor planning rather than systematic inequality. Christine's legal team was prepared. They presented a meticulously compiled collection of receipts, bank transfers, and expense logs spanning several years. Each page told a story. Money from the shared grocery fund earmarked for Christine's household had been redirected elsewhere, while Robyn's expenses were consistently overfunded. One particularly shocking piece of evidence was a spreadsheet comparing household spending patterns. Christine's household expenses were minimal and carefully documented. Robyn's were astronomical in comparison, with hundreds of dollars going toward gourmet snacks, specialty foods, and high-end groceries that were never reflected in the family budget. The courtroom gasped as the judge reviewed one highlighted section. April 2024, Christine $356, Robyn $2,150. That's more than 6 times the amount, Christine's attorney said firmly. And it's consistent every month. This isn't budgeting, it's favoritism. A system designed to disadvantage Christine and her children to strengthen the case. Christine called several witnesses who had previously assisted with the family finances, including accountants and household managers. Their testimony painted a picture of deliberate manipulation. One former household accountant revealed funds were often reallocated without transparency. Christine's household repeatedly received less than required, while Robyn's requests were approved almost automatically. Another key witness, a close family friend, described moments when Christine's children had been sent to bed hungry, while Robyn's home had a surplus of food. It was heartbreaking, the witness testified. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like two different families under the same roof, one struggling, one thriving. Janelle Brown returned to the stand for a second time, this time reading aloud a detailed diary she had kept over several months, documenting instances of food scarcity and inequality. The diary entries included notes about school lunches her siblings at Robyn's house enjoyed, while her own household had to ration meals. Her testimony was so moving that even some of the court staff reportedly wept quietly. In the back of the room, it wasn't just about hunger, Janelle said. It was about watching my friends get things I couldn't have, feeling like my family didn't value me. It hurt more than I can describe. As word of the courtroom evidence spread, social media erupted. Clips of Christine reading her financial statements and Janelle's diary went viral within hours. Fans flooded forums and Twitter feeds, sharing screenshots of the spreadsheets and demanding TLC address the scandal. Hashtags like Christine exposes Robyn and Brown family money scandal began trending, making this one of the biggest sister wives controversies in history. Under cross-examination, Robyn's calm exterior began to crack when asked why certain months showed Christine's household with minimal grocery spending, while Robyn's remained high. She struggled to provide clear answers. Well, there were adjustments, Robyn replied hesitantly. Sometimes money was shifted for unexpected expenses, Christine's attorneys quickly countered, showing records of no such adjustments ever being documented, proving that Robyn's explanation didn't align with the evidence. The courtroom murmured in shock as the judge flipped through the supporting documents. The climax of the second part came when Christine unveiled emails and text messages between Kody and Robyn, revealing discussions about how to manage the family's money, including strategies that appeared to prioritize Robyn's household over the others. Some messages even referred to Christine's contributions as less important and secondary, a direct contradiction to the family's public image. This revelation left the courtroom stunned. It wasn't just favoritism anymore, it was a calculated system of financial manipulation that Christine had endured for years. Now exposed in front of a judge, by the end of part 2, it was clear that Christine had successfully shifted the narrative. She was no longer just another wife, she was a whistleblower, revealing a side of the Brown family that reality TV had never shown. Fans were left shocked, outraged, and demanding answers. TLC had yet to comment publicly on the proceedings, but insiders hinted that the network could face intense scrutiny if this evidence continued to unfold in court. As Christine left the courtroom for the day, her supporters cheered outside. Christine herself remained composed, knowing that the battle was far from over. The next step, Robyn's official rebuttal, Kody's response. And the final shocking twist from the documents Christine had yet to reveal promised to turn the Brown family scandal into an unprecedented reality TV courtroom drama. The courtroom was electric as the third part of Kody Brown's explosive showdown began. After weeks of testimony, evidence, and social media speculation, everyone was waiting for the final revelations, the bombshell documents, the cross-examination of Kody, and the potential verdict that could shake the very foundation of Sister Wives. Kody's legal team saved their most shocking evidence for last. A comprehensive financial dossier spanning over 5 years, detailing not only grocery spending but other household expenses, utilities, and discretionary spending patterns. The documents revealed a consistent trend. Kody's household was systematically underfunded, while Robyn's household repeatedly received extra money, sometimes without explanation. One chart highlighted months where Kody's children went without necessities, while Robyn's household made luxury purchases like specialty cheeses, imported snacks, and designer kitchen items. The courtroom was stunned as Kody's attorney summarized, "This is not an accident. This is a calculated system that has left Kody's children struggling." While Robyn's household thrives, the evidence was so detailed, so meticulously organized that even Robyn's legal team struggled to offer a reasonable rebuttal. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. Kody Brown himself, for years, he had maintained an image of fairness and balance in interviews and on Sister Wives. But under oath, the cracks in that carefully maintained facade began to show. Kody's attorney asked pointed questions. "Mr. Brown, why were Kody's household grocery requests routinely lower than Robyn's, even when her household had more children?" Kody hesitated, glanced at Robyn, then muttered, I don't know exactly. I thought it was fair," the courtroom gasped. His answer, vague and defensive, was far from convincing. Documents previously presented by Kody's team contradicted Kody's claims, showing clear disparities in funding allocations that couldn't be explained by oversight. Gwendolyn returned once more, now reading aloud detailed accounts of the impact the unequal fund allocation had on her childhood. Her words were sharp, precise, and heartbreaking. "I remember nights when I was hungry, knowing that money existed but wasn't for us. I felt invisible. And that feeling never leaves you." The judge listened intently, occasionally pausing to flip through the pages of Kody's evidence. The room was tense, a mix of shock, disbelief, and raw emotion filling every corner. Robyn tried to regain control, presenting a series of spreadsheets and budget notes intended to justify her household spending. But Kody's team systematically dismantled each claim, showing clear inconsistencies, missing records, and questionable reallocations of funds. At one point, a particularly damning email was read aloud. "We'll make sure Robyn's household gets what it needs. The others will manage." The courtroom erupted. Gasps echoed as this direct message suggested intentional favoritism. At the highest level of household management, Robyn looked visibly shaken, unable to provide a credible explanation. News of the documents and testimony spread instantly. Clips of Gwendolyn reading her diary, Kody's shocking spreadsheet revelations, and the email showing favoritism went viral. Fans flooded social media with outrage. "Kody wins. Brown family exposed. Justice for Kody and Gwendolyn." Commentators debated whether TLC had been aware of these issues, and whether the network's portrayal of a happy plural family had been misleading all along. After hours of deliberation, the judge delivered a measured but powerful statement. While the court could not impose penalties beyond addressing financial mismanagement, the judge acknowledged the systematic inequities in the fund allocation and recommended immediate corrective measures. Kody's household was granted retroactive reimbursement for underfunded months, and Kody was instructed to implement transparent financial procedures for the future. What do you think? Is this the end of the Brown family as we know it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We really want to hear your take. And if you don't want to miss the next shocking update, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you're the first to know when the drama unfolds.